I was a Super Nintendo kid. For those of you that don't remember or never care to know, that means that I was a child of the 16-bit era of endless imagination and challenging gameplay there was a plethora, and I was always up to a new game, a new journey, etc., etc. More than that, it was a lifestyle. Some talk about the children of television, the TV filling in for some young child in the parent's absence, and in that way I was a child of the home console. But it never babysat, it kidnapped, but in the Disney sense, in which the child benefits so much from the experience that the culprit is a protagonist and doesn't go to jail. The Super Nintendo found a child with no void to fill and created one, crashing through the walls of my unsuspecting psyche like the Kool-Aid Man, quenching a thirst I never knew I had. And it was more than just a fad, more than anything I'd ever thought I'd have. It was to the point that when it finally returned me to my mom and dad, the real world upon my shoulder and arm, I must confess that all I could be was sad. It has been years now since the journey came to an end, but in my adult mind I cling to the words of wisdom imprinted on me during that time, lessons hidden beneath the guise of entertainment which still guide how I live my life. I remember facing off against Sigma on the first Mega Man X game. I had one life left, had spent hours getting to this point. The password, now I knew, restarted you at the first Sigma stage. I had for some reason forgotten I had a pause button and I really had to go to the bathroom. A normal person would have put the controller down and taken the loss, but I was a Super Nintendo kid, and as a Super Nintendo kid, you did not accept defeat. You hold it and you hold it and you hold it until you think you can't anymore, but Sigma's life is halfway done and you still have three special weapons, so you hold it more and you win. And then as you walk or run to the bathroom, you know that the thrill of victory is worth the possible urinary tract infection. I learned that you have to make sacrifices in life. Success has a cost, and the path to success is difficult and littered with pain and struggle, but not to the point that it is something you cannot overcome. And as I played Super Mario World, I learned about friendship, because as I jumped off Joshi to reach a higher platform, I felt guilt, and as I progressed, I found a turtle with a purple shell with which Joshi could have carried me to the end of the level. While in life one has to make sacrifices, I've learned not to sacrifice my friends. No success that comes at their expense is one worth having, and it's amazing how often you will find yourself needing your friends even before the ashes of the bridges you burned have had a chance to cool. As I got older, I learned that sometimes you can spend 5 hours trying to pass a puzzle in The Legend of Zelda only to get it right on your first try the next day. After all, it does not do one well to dwell on a problem they can't figure out. Sometimes taking a step back is the best of options, and it does not mean failure. It means taking a tactical retreat to recuperate and think of new ways of attacking the same dilemma. I've also learned not to give up, because no matter how many times I gave up on Jurassic Park, promising to never play it again, it would nag at my perception. Its great chest is somehow different than the rest, with the ability to draw my eye and my attention. And it is so that the real problems one faces are ones you cannot ignore, and sometimes you will stay up late at night, frustration ever present in your gaze as life piles on the Tetris blocks of stress and pressure and that squiggly one when you are in desperate need of a line piece. You step away, you say you give up, you say you don't care, but much like the Jurassic Park game, it cannot be avoided, and all you can do is try it again, hopefully a little older, a little wiser, and a little luckier. I've learned that in life there's variety, and just because you hate Batman Forever, it does not mean you hate video games. There will be games with awkward controls, and there will be entire genres of games that you'll hate, but just because platformers irk you does not mean that a fighter won't be your fix. To me, to hate video games is to hate life, and you can't because you can't judge a game by its cartridge, and you don't know if the next game will be one you like. My life is defined by these rules, and as I've been talking, I must confess I've had a change of heart. I can't say I was a Super Nintendo kid. I never stopped being one.